G'day guys, welcome back to another week of building the Santisima Trinidad. This week, to start with anyway, we're going to be planking across the front here. We'll be using these 0.5 by 4 mil oak planks. Doesn't look like oak to me, but that's what the instructions say it is. So we'll just be using that across the front here. Then we'll be making a couple of door frames and doors, and then the heads or toilets will go on either side of it. So I'll just get the glue ready and we'll start.
Okay, next up we're going to make the ship's heads or toilets that sit on that bow deck. So I've got 2-part 54s, then we have 55As that go on the top and 55Bs which go on the bottom. The way to tell the two apart, the 55As have the longer tab sticking out the back of it here. So I'll use CA glue with this because I've got no way of holding the parts in place while the white glue dries, so in this instance I'll use the CA glue. Next up we have to plank it. As you can see, I've done this one here. These planks are 1mm by 2mm. There's actually 4 of them in the kit. Fortunately I've managed to find 3 which is enough to get this done. It takes 12 planks all up. I just measured the distance from top to bottom, cut 12 of them, and we'll just fix them around the edge, starting on that back edge there. So I'll just get the glue and we'll start that. Okay, we'll just give this a little while to dry, then we'll give it a sand up, just make sure it's nice and smooth, because the angles you're going around, you have a natural tiny gap between each one, so we'll sand that back and I'll see whether I need to fill it or not, and then we have to drill a hole in the front and paint it before it goes onto the ship. So we'll do that in just a sec. Okay, I've sanded off top and bottom and given it a light sand around the outside to smooth it off. Actually, the instructions call for this to then be filled with wood putty, but I'm not going to do it. I think it'll look better seeing the actual planks on there. We have to drill a 2mm hole at the top, 8mm from the top. So I've marked the second one here to do, so I'll do that on camera. I'm just going to start off putting a pilot hole in. It's not very well lit up, is it? And then I'll just use a 2mm drill bit to drill that out. There we go, that's in there. So next up we just have to paint this black, leave that to dry, and while that's drying we'll make the door frames that go in that area. Okay, that's the door frames done, and I've also test fitted the heads onto the front of the ship here. I'm actually going to have to trim up a little bit because it's a fraction too tight and doesn't sit all the way back, so I'll get that fixed. The instructions say we don't actually fit these to the ship yet. They'll go on at a later point, and I also thought we'd be doing the doors, but that's a little bit later. At this stage we have some more frames to fit to the ship, so we'll get started on that. Okay, next we have some deck braces to put across for the next deck up. We'll go from frames 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11 and 10. They'll just slot into this spot just in here, and then later we'll have one more deck that will go above those. So I'll just start putting these in now. This is F15. Okay, next up we have two of these Part 56s that will just sit in behind these frames here. As with the other ones, the arrow points to the bow. I've put the first one in already because I couldn't quite make out on the instructions exactly where it was going, so I thought I'd better do a test fit first. This one will slide in. It actually sits over that lower deck there, and then each of the holes will fit into the slot on each corresponding frame. So we just slide it through, and it sits out the back here, and then we just have to flip it up. Sorry, my arm's getting in the way. Just flip it up and try and fit into each of those holes in the frame. They don't sit too bad, a little bit out, but once we put the braces in, that should hold it nicely in place. So we don't actually glue this part until after we fit the braces over the top. So I'll just cut those out and we'll fit those in place. Okay, next up we've got this part 61 that sits across the front here. I thought I filmed putting it in, but apparently I didn't. So it just sits near the front here in the last slot of these braces. It was sitting about a millimetre or so above the deck, so I've used CA glue, and I'm just using these clamps to hold it down to the deck while it sets. Next up we've got this part that holds the mast, and that will just slot into this spot here, and then after we have to drill a hole down through that deck. So I'll get the glue ready and we'll put this in place. Okay, next up we have to drill a hole for the mast to go down through that deck. This is a 12 millimetre hole. I don't have a 12 millimetre Forstner bit, but I've got a 10 millimetre. So we're using that, and then once I've got the hole through, I'll use a file just to widen it that little bit, and then later on I'll check the mast, make sure it does fit. I've drilled a pilot hole so I don't slip. Okay, that's made a reasonably good hole. It's broken off a little bit towards the front there, but we'll be able to fix that up. So I'll just get a file and we'll just trim that up so we get a nice round hole in that spot. Okay, that's all I've got time for this week. I believe next week we'll be adding the deck up here, planking it that is, and hopefully we'll also get to adding some of the LED lights to the ship. I believe there'll be, to start with anyway, 3 at the front, 2 at the back. So yeah, I hope you can join me for that. Cheers.